We would like to take this opportunity to recognize the validity of the protests going on throughout the United States and the world, advocating for greater equality and justice for all people at risk. We want to affirm that love is love, that Black Lives Matter, and trans rights are human rights. If I might, I will leave you with a poem. Something is terribly wrong if the pain, sorrow, and outrage of a people makes you more uncomfortable than murder itself. By Rupi Kaur. And now, on with the show. Warning. Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, and violence. Listener discretion advised. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Richi.
I'm Tiff, and I'm playing Kuni Yui.
I am Paul, and I'm playing Shoshiro Bisho.
All right, so I'm going to give you all a downtime action to kind of finish off the day, and then in the morning, get your guys self load that ox cart back up, and you're going to head down towards Crablands to go take care of Noboru and his distillery.
Okay, we're assuming that Gon is going to make his way back to the village.
Gon is going to wait for you to return. He'll stay here.
Okay,
he's not in any condition to hike back up the out of the valley back up to the village.
Maybe we can convince him to babysit Inari.
Oh yeah, Gon would be willing to. I mean, this is how often do you get to have one-on-one FaceTime with a fortune?
I mean, pretty often.
Yeah. Well, for some of us.
I will leave it to Bisho to explain to Inari, but what we're doing.
I have to explain this to Inari. That's scary.
Hey, yo, boss, I gotta go.
Of course, Gen does not know that, in fact, Bisho is the one who should be explaining things to Inari, but it's definitely not going to be her.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot we got our little Seiji token. It's such a cute puppy.
I wish we could have kept him as an NPC. He would have been such a cute boy.
Yeah, well, he's trying his best to be a heckin' good boy in Chixudo and hopefully elevate to a higher life the next time around.
Yeah, he might be a wolf.
Yeah. All right. So yes, downtime activity for people. What do people like to get up to for their evening?
Well, definitely collecting leaves to dry.
Okay.
Yeah, about the size. Well, about the same shape as
sure. So you can maybe go around and tear leaves and get them to about the right shape, but you're never going to get the same weight though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard, but at least if they look the part.
Okay.
Because some other things can happen to make them look better.
Got it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this would be you're going to, I guess what's the hardest part? Finding leaves? Not really. So I don't think a survival check's in order here. I think it's a skullduggery check to make the leaves look as much convincing as you can beforehand before you do some sort of woohoo Shugenja stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and make it a skullduggery check. And if you're just trying to make it look like, about the same size things wrapped in rice paper, I think that's a TN2 subterfuge skullduggery check. TN2 air skullduggery check.
Waiting for that ring. Cool. Oh, and I am going to use a void point on this.
That's fair. So what is that going to give you for a dice pool? All right. So what'd you come up with for your roll?
Okay, well, my dice pool originally was 2 white, 4 black, and it came out to be 2 opportunities, 2 successes, and 2 strife.
Okay, and, so that is success.
And does this qualify as pot stirring as I'm scheming a kind of action?
Yeah, you are definitely putting yourself in here, and you've kind of pressed your other fellows into postponing going and learning the truth about Chixudo and Inari's involvement here in the mortal plane and what your friends might be going through. Yes, you are definitely stirring the pot to get this plot off.
Okay. And I did have 2 successes, so I guess I succeeded.
Yep, that you do. So yes, you go through and you select the leaves and you tear and cut them in just the right way that they are going to closely resemble the koku, and you're going to wrap them in rice paper. And how are you going to spend your 2 opportunities here?
I am going to spend these 2 opportunities to make it look very convincing that
so
these
you're
are
acting precisely and subtly. Yep. Yeah, to make it as from a distance, if you just kind of opened a box and showed it to somebody, they would say that looks like what they would expect to see. So the extra little packages you made that look like the wrap 12 that is already in there, you can wrap up leaves, pack them tightly enough, get the same rice paper and the offering ribbon to tie around them, and you're pretty sure that this is a damn fine convincing lie. So you now have a package of fake koku that has the concealable keyword.
Wonderful.
All right. So that is Bisho's downtime action. Ricci, how about you?
Well, obviously we've got some time to spare, so let's get to cooking again. I've come up with a couple of new ideas, so I'm gonna try it out and get everyone a good fine meal here. And if I'm going to impress a fortune, now's the time to do so.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, you could maybe cook with labor and maybe use aesthetics to present it, make it very presentable to the fortune.
Oh no, it's going to be a design. I'm going to try to come up with something completely new.
I like that. I like using design in ways that isn't just clothing and fashion. If they wanted to be just specifically that, I think they would have called it that.
Well, I think this is going to be the first time that Inari has actually eaten anything. So now's the chance to actually prove how good rice actually is.
Okay. So what kind of dish? How fancy do you think you're going to go here?
It depends on the ingredients here. If they only have just rice, then
it's rice and vegetables and a few other things. But it's not like they have any. They don't have any meat on hand, but they do have tofu.
Do they have a couple of spices?
They have some. What are you looking for? I guess. How rare and exotic do you want to go here?
Not necessarily super rare. Mostly something that's a little bit more common, but at the same time, good. Like common enough that it could be found anywhere in the Empire, but better than just steamed rice.
Sure.
I'm thinking like a curry of a sort.
There you go. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and do a bit of a stew seasoned with some good warming spices to it. So let's do a Japanese curry here. So let's call that normally a TN1, but you really want to impress the fortunes here, right?
Right.
So let's. I think that's going to be a fire design check. And since you are kind of going all out on this, but it's still just a basic curry, let's go with the TN of 2, and you're going to use Ops to make it more important and interesting. And I'm thinking we'll go with fire because you're trying to invent and maybe try to provoke something out of Inari by letting her know how good food can be, versus maybe going on an old standby of comfort food, which I would maybe say is earth or something like that. What do you think?
Exactly. I just want to give a little bit extra, kick to it, if you will.
Exactly. If you're gonna be extra in cooking, it kind of looks like it should be fire. So let's go with that. Let's go with, for cuisine, using for utilitarian artists I like to do with design. Let's go ahead and do a TN2 fire design check for your culinary arts, and this will key off a gourmet passion, so you may reduce 3 strife.
Woo!
All right, Ricci. So what'd you roll?
I rolled 1 skill die and 2 ring dice and got exactly 1 success.
Ooh, rough. Those blanks, man. That is tough. All right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it sounds a bit like failure. You're not going to be able to present a very fancy and extra dish for the fortune here. And in fact, I think that kind of keys off of your failure anxiety. And so I think they're just going to cancel each other out off the same check, which means you don't lose any strife, but you don't gain any strife, but you also don't gain a void point. They just one for one cancel each other out on the same check. And as you go and prepare your meal and present it to Inari, this is the first time she has had curry over rice, and it overpowers the rice to her. She is like a brand new tongue brought into this world. She has no idea about flavors, and this is far too spicy for her liking. And she's only able to take a few bites before she kind of pushes it away from herself and says that she thinks she's had enough. And yes, unfortunately,
okay,
yeah, you're gonna take 2 glory hit there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm real sorry there. All right, but everyone else, if you don't mind spicy food, you are probably going to do fine. I mean, Gen, you couldn't taste this morning's porridge at all, so I mean, who knows?
Yui's just laughing like.
What's that? Gen?
Yeah, no, yeah. This is okay.
Actually, it's to you. You're astounded. It tastes wonderful.
Okay, this tastes pretty good.
Yeah, you're able to taste every part of it. It's spicy. It's hot. If you're not used to it, it's a bit of a kick. But man, this is so much better than the rice porridge you had earlier, which just kind of seemed to have no taste at all. But right now, this rice is good. In fact, it's probably the best part. The best thing Ricci did was cook the rice.
So it's good.
Yeah. All right. So, moving on, again, it is time for your downtime action.
Well, I would like to go over this contract. Actually, no. Gen would really, really, really like to be outside with her sketchbook sketching a butterfly, but she is going to be dutifully inside with a contract, poring over it and trying to figure out if it's legal, binding, what kind of grounds we have to break it, or at least weak points to push on it if we can't.
Sure thing. All right, so let's take a look at going over the law. The law, I believe, is mostly covered by government checks, if that is correct. So that's a scholar skill. All right, so of the scholar skills, that would probably be an analyze an air check, studying for details, find something known to be hidden, infer things about things, untangle contradictions. I think air is the correct approach to use for trying to find what's going on in a legal contract.
That sounds right.
Let's go with a TN3 air government check.
Okay. All right. I will. I'll go ahead and spend a void on this one. I'll do it for you.
So yeah, how do Yui and Bisho take to the curry? It's a bit hot, a bit raw. Well, not really raw as in the ingredients are raw, but it's a little rough around the edges. But the rice is all right. What do you guys think?
Bisho probably takes a few bites and gives like a big smile to Ricci, just kind of nods, and then sneaks out like a small sweet from his pocket and starts eating that instead.
Nice.
Oh, Yui just looks at everyone who is having trouble with the spice, and especially Inari, who basically pushes it away like a little kid would, and just kind of laughs and says, Ricci, you've done an incredible job. This is fantastic. Love the fiery spirit you put in it.
With that, you kind of see Ricci perk up a little bit, be like, thanks. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And you as well, Bisho.
Yes, it shows the intensity of your personality and passion for cooking.
It absolutely does. And if Yui is close enough to Inari to kind of give her one of those like hearty smack on the back, and don't worry, you'll get used to this kind of flavor and intensity in no time, I'm sure.
Yeah, Inari's just looking at you both like, what's wrong with you? This was awful, but it's mostly just the look. She clearly is not getting what everyone else is enjoying. So she kind of sniffs at it again, and maybe over the course of the next 20 minutes takes another bite or two, but just never goes back and really finishes the meal. So she might go hungry on her first night on Ningendo, but not worth my diving in on that. It's just too hot for that lady. All right, but again, what did you wind up rolling?
Other than asking for Richie for another bowl, after the curry, again does her government stuff. She succeeds with 3 successes exactly and 1 strife.
All right. Well, the biggest thing that you can notice about the contract is that the monk was right. The contract isn't due until New Year's. So the monk technically has about 4 months and 1 week left to pay back the other 38 koku that they owe. But you also know that is probably an insubstantial or an unsurmountable hurdle for a small shrine like this, especially if the Golden Sun Plains just went alight this week. Not that anyone is really harvesting here, but no one is really going to be traveling so much through this area. It's going to definitely detract from tourists and pilgrims.
However, potentially it could, and so them taking
there's a potential that they have voided the contract by taking possession of the collateral early.
Yes, because it could. I mean, Inari showed up here. It could,
right? Anything is possible. Yeah, but they are in slight violation, even if yes, their ability to only put together this amount of money over the course of the last 8 months has netted them this amount of money.
Right. There's no clause claim in the contract for claiming anything early.
Yeah, and so that's the most glaring and obvious error that you see with the contract and the way that it has been enforced.
All right.
Excellent. All right. Moving on, we go to Yui.
I don't think Yui has any particular extra desires for her downtime activity.
Okay.
Should probably just for preparation for this, just get some even more extra exercise in because man, it takes time and effort to keep up this beefy form. So
sure. But still, let's go ahead and give you a check for it. Who knows? It might give you a little get you the nice and limbered and ready to fight in the next coming day. So let's go ahead and do some sort of fitness test for you here.
All right.
Yeah. So what element might you want to specialize in? Do you want to withstand by going into earth and trying to build up your endurance? Shift by going into water and try to up your some of your ability to bob and weave? Do you want to go into fire and just practice just wailing on opponents and just overwhelming them with strikes? Do you want to practice your feints, your sneaky sneaks? Not really her style. Or do you want to practice more in your void of just, whatever they can throw at me, I can just take and dish back twice as hard and go into a void kind of fitness?
I actually think Yui's been working on her Earth Ring lately. So this is a good opportunity to spend even more time for that.
Okay. So let's call it a TN2 Earth check. And for success in every 2 bonus successes, you will get extra phantom physical resist for the next attack that hits you.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, a little something extra for going out and doing your workouts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got 3 Earth and 1 fitness.
Okay.
So I'll give that a roll.
Yeah, TN2.
Wow. I rolled 2 blanks, 1 success, and 1 stray fortunity. And since I don't really think any of my advantages apply here, so here's what I imagine happens with Yui. So for, she basically noticed a few other people not eating as much of the spicy rice as she did. So she's like, well, you know what? I'll just clean up some of these leftovers. So she's like, all right, I'm going to get into this withstand. I'm gonna get used to this. And then a grumbling where the spice says, oh no, you have in fact other business to attend to. You will have to exercise another time. And so I will use the opportunity to act very carefully so that nothing bad happens and hopefully nobody notices.
I love it.
Running.
I put myself into gastronomical distress, but I will spend the opportunity to not make a mess of myself.
Or at least not to have everyone even think.
No,
that was a possibility.
That she's got a rumbly and the tumbly. Everything's fine. Everyone knows it's fine.
No, good. I totally can handle my spice. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. Right on. Good stuff. All right.
I will want a heart-to-heart with Inari and just to talk to her.
Okay.
And explain that we need to leave her in the care of Gon. So, that easy little conversation there.
Okay. So yeah, you walk up to the room where she's going to be staying with Gon, and she is sitting as well as she can, and still in Seiji's armor, and so this is what we'll be doing. You're going to have me wait here while you go off and defend my name.
Well, yes, isn't that how it usually goes? Well, you're not in. But
I'm not usually around for that. I usually have messengers like you to handle situations like this. But now that I'm here and you have me armed and armored, these people have desecrated my shrine.
Well, Inari-sama, how well can you actually move in that armor?
She kind of sheepishly looks around. Not very well. The helmet's heavier than I thought. I figured it would not be as heavy as my raiment that I would wear, but it's so hot in this.
Yes. You have a new body in Nari-sama. You need to get used to it. This will give you time to practice and then to impress.
I feel so powerless right now.
Oh, well, is there anything I can do to help you feel a little bit more in power?
She kind of leans forward, and the heaviness of the armor and the helmet kind of makes her lean a little bit farther forward. And she just kind of whispers over to you, "You can help me figure out how to get this thing off. I can hardly breathe in this. And I don't dare ask Yui again." She tugged and pulled at me in ways earlier. I think I'm going to bruise.
As you wish, Inari-sama.
Kind of lifts her arms up, and you guys go to fumble her out of the armor. And you don't remember the last time that you've worn armor. It's been a long time since
a few hundred years. Yeah,
since you've decided to don armor. And that was you figured that was a young Fox's game. Playing at Bushi's, you decided it was much better to play with the arts.
Oh yeah, I help her out and make sure she's like,
oh, that's so much better. All right, so who's all going with you tomorrow then?
Well, the Akoto, the Doji, and the Kuni.
All right. Well, I take it you're gonna want me to entertain the old man then?
Or he can entertain you. It can go both ways now.
That's gonna take some getting used to, I suppose, although he does tend to prefer to like to use the Sama honorific, and does show me the respect that I'm used to.
We'll have you back. You will regain your power.
Still, I'm worried. My other messengers, I can't reach out and contact you. None of you bear the markings of my patronage. I'm worried about what else might be slipping by the wayside if I'm not there. The harvest is going to have to come in the next several weeks, depending on where in Rokugan people live. The northern part of the empire, it's going to be coming in less than a week.
They'll do fine.
But they won't have the fortune of rice to look after them, to look after the harvest, to keep the covenant they've made with us through all the rites and sacrifices they've made and offerings that they've committed to in my name. They no longer have my protection, my blessings, me to look after them.
Humans are crafty.
I don't even feel any connection at all. I'm sorry.
Humans are crafty, but they probably won't notice the difference. As long as they think you're still around, they will work hard. What
if that's true and they don't need me? She looks really scared at that point.
Then once they start thinking they don't need you, you just show up and really show them how they need you again.
She nods at that. You're right. This is more than likely temporary. We don't even know what caused this just yet.
And you'll be by our sides once we start researching.
Okay, then. I'll do my best to entertain Agon and to adapt to this new condition. Do you think you can do me one last favor, though?
Of course. Anything for my Kami.
Could you bring me up something to eat? I'm famished.
I'll make sure there's some plain rice. But in the meantime, have some candy. And I give her a piece of candy.
Very nice. Next morning rolls around, and since you got almost a full day's ride ahead of you, you guys get up kind of just at the crack of dawn and hook the ox back up to the cart, and the four of you set off down the road. And it's going to be a good 20 miles or so by ox cart.
Actually, I don't think we need the ox cart because we're not carrying anyone wounded, and we've all got horses.
Well, we might need the cart for the statue.
Oh, the statue. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
That's true. If you want to bring as stout as Heart of Oak is, I don't believe that they can take a golden saint on their back.
Fair enough.
That is fair. Good thinking there, Ricci. So yeah, so it's going to be a good long day's journey for you. So if you guys, the Shrine Keeper is giving you rough itinerary of where to go, but no one has full good maps like we are used to in this time. So if someone would like to give me a survival check to navigate to where you believe this distillery is, and I'd allow 2 people to give assistance.
I mean, I can give assistance. What's the ring?
The ring for this would probably be, let me see. I think it's an earth. I think it is an earth survival check.
Does anyone
follow directions?
I would say Ricci can give it a shot because I know my way around some unfamiliar lands. I can certainly give it a try.
Yeah, I guess that would be the way if you're going to follow the directions just as the person laid out, I think that'd be earth. If you're just going to trailblaze yourself, I would say that would be fire. That'd be the innovate. And kind of winging it and asking for directions as you go along might be air, to try and grab information as you continue on. Air would be at a higher difficulty. And earth would be at the lowest difficulty.
I'll say I was just going to follow the directions given to us.
Okay. So let's go with a T&1 earth survival check.
And you get assistance from me.
Skilled or unskilled? Sorry, say again? Skilled. There we go. Excellent. All right. And there you go. So T&1 earth survival with skilled assistance. All right. So what was your roll?
So with everything considered, I got 2 opportunities and 3 successes and 1 strife. And so we'll just make a little bit of extra time up there. But for my opportunities, I'd like to reduce some strife off of Gen and off of Bisho. So
Okay.
just go from there.
So how do you want to split those up?
It would be 2 strife off of Gen and then 1 strife off of Bisho.
Okay. So yeah, well, the you knew it was going to be a full day's journey, but Ricci does their best to make it an enjoyable experience, sharing stories, singing songs, all that good stuff. That makes a good road trip just a little bit easier to bear.
Well, it's mostly theorizing out loud about different types of food that Inari might like. And stuff like, what do you think she might like plums? Because, I mean, it's something sweet and, well, maybe.
Never plums with eagles. Never, ever.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But I know a favorite of mine and a few others who bowed out to Inari. Fried tofu.
Really?
Really?
I did not see you as a fried tofu type of person.
Oh, trust me. I love it.
Okay, so just as a quick note, something that we have, I think, forgotten to bring up, there have been a couple of scene change ending things. So after the last scene, I believe, Gen, you were at 7 fatigue out of 10?
Yes, that's right.
So that should have dropped to 5 due to end of a scene. And then Ricci giving you 2 more off should drop you to 3.
All right.
And same for everyone else. If you had stuff that was over half, you go back down to half after a good night's sleep. You heal, you water times 2 in fatigue after a good night's sleep. Get rid of exhausted if you had it. And then if Ricci's taken off any more from you, take it off from your halfway point if you were over more than halfway, you know? So there we go, making sure everyone is at their good rested state.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got to be ready for this.
Yeah. So you guys make your way further down south until you find yourselves in front of the Yamaguchi Distillery or Yamaguchi Sake Works. There we go. I like that name better. So yes, the Yamaguchi Sake Works. And yeah, you guys are pretty much right where the priest said it would be. It's at a small tributary leading into the river that feeds into Earthquake Face Bay. And there is a distillery there, and it has some rough-looking characters hanging around out front. So, yeah, it kind of fits the bill of kind of how they painted it, that this is someone who is operating not necessarily outside of Imperial control. You're sure they pay their taxes, but they don't really have anyone to keep good tabs on them, and you're sure that their wealth lets them get away with a lot of things. Just from the look of the place, it's ostentatious in a way that a samurai would find displeasing if it was in a city.
All right, I am going to ask Sueno to do me a favor.
Okay.
Sueno-san, could you take a look around this area and see if you can find where the large golden statue might be being kept? I'm assuming he's not keeping it in the middle of the distillery, but just look around and see if you can find where he's keeping his art treasures, and then come back and let me know. And if I'm unavailable, you can make sure the horses are okay. Is that all right?
That's more than fine. I'll go ahead and investigate immediately.
All right. Sueno, just as a reminder, has Skulk and
very nice.
Some advantages that keep her below the radar of
people who might be looking to make a scene. So with her Skulk and her overlooked, that makes her ignore or at least fool anyone of vigilance. Is it 2 or 3? What's her ranks in trade?
Let me double check. She is got that ranks in trade.
So 2 ranks in trade, I believe, means that with Skulk and Overlooked, yes. That is ignores. So someone would have to have vigilance of 4 to spot her. So that's pretty good. She's probably going to be going unseen through this whole situation. Okay.
But then, she can help us out that way and not get into trouble. And if we have to reclaim it, we'll be able to.
All right. So where are you going to wait for Sueno to kind of come back and let you kind of get her recon report?
Well, I'm going to go with the others. I'm assuming they're going into the inn, but, she can call from there.
Okay.
Okay.
That works. What do the rest of you think about doing with this situation?
Doing a recon beforehand to make sure the statue's actually around. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right.
You want to wait for Sueno's report?
Yeah, we should probably wait and then go in.
All right. Well, then.
But luckily, Ricci, this place, the Sake Works, does have a nearby izakaya that is well stocked with Yamaguchi sake. And I think you won a bet.
I did not win a bet. I lost it hard.
I'm sorry. I got it confused. You owe Yui. I'm sorry. I got that confused and backwards a little bit. Yeah.
So I do owe Yui, yes, but not while we're working.
I believe the stipulations was, though, that the next town you go to that has a well-stocked bar, you did owe her. Wow. It's a matter of honor at this point, keeping your word.
This is not a town, though.
just a small unincorporated village.
I think that's splitting hairs. I hate to say it, but yeah.
The legal master is like, actually.
Okay. All right. I'll head on over to the distillery then.
Well, no, you don't have to go to the distillery. You could to the Sake Works. You could go to one of like the kind of roadside bars that they have set up here.
Yeah, I'll head on over there and we'll see what they've got in stock.
And it is, almost wall-to-wall Yamaguchi branded sake from the nearby Sake Works. A few other local brands, mostly Crab, are in stock, but overwhelmingly Yamaguchi brand.
Okay. I'll ask. I'll say, what's the best sake you would recommend for a particularly angry Kuni witch hunter?
Oh, particularly angry one, you say?
Yes.
You sort of made yourself a terrible enemy, but
no, it's a good friend.
That is a rough friend to have, then, my traveler. All right, well, from my understanding, they prefer the unfiltered Nagori style. So, this here is Milky Sky by Yamaguchi, and he kind of produces a large porcelain bottle of it.
Milky Sky, interesting. How many of these bottles do you have?
Oh, several, and if I need more, it's just right across the river from us here. And he points to the Sake Works across the way from you.
At which point, Ricci just kind of looks down and starts counting with his fingers. And he goes, 1, 4, 4 bottles.
Oh, very good, very good. Let me go ahead and are you going to drink that all yourself here, or with your friend here, or shall I wrap that to go?
Wrap it to go for now. We might come back in. We'll see how the day plays out.
All right, give me just 1 second. All right. So altogether, that will come to 3 boo, because you're kind of buying the local stuff, and you kind of get it at wholesale rates here. So 3 boo gets you 4 bottles of Milky Sky Yamaguchi sake.
Done. And wrapped up nice and neat and ready to go when ready to pay off this bet.
Yep, kind of in some very stiff paper containers to kind of protect the bottles and not let them bump into each other and whatnot. All right. So anything else people might want to do while waiting for Sueno to get back? I think a short-term downtime action would not be outside the norm. Ricci's gone shopping for a little bit. Anything else people might want to do while waiting for Sueno to report?
Well, maybe talk with Jeanne because she looked over the contract.
Okay.
I don't think we have time to discuss that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right. So, yeah, why don't you two discuss the finer points of what you might have come up with on the contract, Gen?
All right. Well, Gen points out that the statue was seized early. It is marked as being legitimate good to be exchanged for this, which was probably
collateral to be held if payment was not made in time.
However, seizing it early, however unlikely, is not really appropriate. However, if he could be convinced perhaps that the Shrine to Inari would have a huge surge in publicity and pilgrims in the near future, that might justify returning it. That might remove the grounds from which he is taken because he is assuming a certain status. I would love to be able to see the other contracts because some of them might be, some shrine keepers he has taken things from might be less foolish than Kenzo, but
though people like this, most of the time, the only thing that they want truly is an honor or glory. It's money. But if we can find a way to get the statue away from him and not pay him anything, I think that would be the best result.
You might think so, Bisho-san. However, how does your clan look upon those who would not repay their debts in this fashion?
Depends how they get away with it.
Gen raises an eyebrow there. Isn't your clan all about making sure that they don't?
He's just like a little distracted and looks at you.
Isn't the goal of the Scorpion to make sure that people are not getting away with things?
Well, I guess. I don't feel that this man deserves a coin. He is taking things away from temples. He's taking sacred objects and turning them into knickknacks.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, Bisho-san. But he is also repairing temple roofs. This doesn't seem the way to do it to me, but if there was some other evidence of wrongdoing, I would certainly not hesitate to jump in there. I can't imagine the Asahina shrines giving up their items without more than a leaky roof. They can call upon the power of the Crane Daimyo, and they should be able to handle most of their costs without this. So I would very much like to know what was done to cause that particular item to be traded.
Oh, he probably strong-armed them.
If there was anything stolen or threatened or extorted, any evidence of that might be different. But we're not even magistrates here.
Yeah, so we'll have to be a little bit more careful.
I suppose that one such as you would easily cause them to fall prey to the crime of attacking a samurai, however.
Well, it probably won't be a false cry.
That one wouldn't be a false crime.
And about that, Sueno comes walking back up to the two of you. Doji-sama, speaking of crimes, I have gone ahead and looked into it, and it's worse than you might have thought. The poor fool has turned probably half of that sake works into a museum to his own grandiosity.
Oh my.
And yes, kind of front and center to this this museum of his. It looks like he has set up the Golden Saint, kind of in the same position of honor that it would have been in the Shrine to Inari.
Are any of them that you recall definite crane artifacts?
That I am sorry to say is more than likely true. I believe I saw I spied a Yari from the Heaven's Wisdom Temple, one that had been dedicated not to no longer to war, but to helping guide the wind for ships and storms and rain to come.
What is the status post tsunami of Heaven's Will Temple?
Heaven's Wisdom Temple probably got hit pretty hard.
All right, because I'm thinking, and if I have to roll, I will, of course.
Yeah.
I am thinking that someone like this, an art collector.
I'm sorry, Heaven's Wisdom Temple is not necessarily directly on the coast, like Wall Above the Ocean Village, and that place got hit terribly. But this is actually a little bit far enough in that it probably wasn't hit too bad. And and they are considered to be mostly concerned with astronomy and astrology, and are seen to be naive scholars in the eyes of other more militant forms like the monks of Asanawo.
Right. Now, I was thinking that someone like this might not be able to resist a little looting in a post-tsunami world, because there's a lot of treasures of Crane Clan, a lot of places and shrines and stuff that would just be broken open and abandoned.
Many estates on the coast that were just boarded up, and people people didn't even see it coming. Right? They didn't have time to save any of their treasures.
So if they're, he would be, if he had looted anything, then we got him. So I can assume that he looted it and make him force him to show the contract.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, because if he's gone out of his way to make a contract with this small little shrine over 50 koku, a Nemoroni used by astrologers to clear the clouds so they can view the heavens, is a bit more how shall we say important than just a leaky roof and a golden saint.
All right. If he's got that, I think that's enough. It's a crane artifact Nermani. It's not an unreasonable assumption that he has looted it in some fashion and needs to show show a contract. This is crane stuff. And even if it was taken, then it would be up to it would be crane stuff to get it back. He can take it up with the management.
Fair enough.
He shouldn't be wandering around with it himself.
Yeah. All right. So at this point, it sounds like Gen has got her dander up over this man possessing a crane artifact. The rest of you are ready. Are you ready to go in and confront this Noboru?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So you all stride up to the Yamaguchi Sake Works with some sort of dramatic music playing, I'm sure, to accompany you if this was some sort of a feature and or play on stage. And you present yourselves. And how do you request to speak with the proprietor?
As far as I'm concerned, Gen is willing to come straight up and demand to see him to claim the contract for the to claim the Nermani from Heaven's Will.
If Gen is going straight up to demand things, you will absolutely get right up next to her and be like, yeah, we need to speak to this person.
All right, then. You want to speak to the boss? Come on. I'm sure he can show you the contract that you're looking for. And they walk you into Sueno was not joking around. This guy has got just the weirdest collection of hodgepodge like artifacts and objects of art and paintings and statuary. And there it is, this living saint, a mummified monk encased in gold, sitting front and center, lit by a skylight that looks like it was brand new, just installed into the roof of the sake works, just to shine Lady Sun's light directly onto this well-maintained golden effigy of a living saint. And yes, this Noboru, who has a very closely shaved head with a little bit of growth showing, just the kind of showing where his hairline would be if he let it grow out any more than that. And this very small, very faint, narrow mustache, and just a face that looks like he has been through more than one fight. One eye a little more closed than the other. And so what do we have here? I hear you're looking to check on a contract of mine to make sure that I have the receipts for everything that I have displayed here in my museum. I'm Robert, Orbayushi Shinichi, your host and narrator. Thank you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday, and if you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/courtgames. To reach out to us, email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
I'm Tiff, and I played Kuniyui. You can also find us on the web at courtgamespod.com, Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and Twitter at L5RFNS.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Ricci. You can find me on Twitter or on Twitch as CourtGames.
I'm Paul, and I was playing Shishura Bisho. If you want to follow my other projects, I am the GM of 2 LGBT+ podcasts, Tales of Swordfall at Swordfall D&D for D&D 5e, and Gates of Orchid and Iris at GOIL5R for L5R 5e.
This was Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. If you like, you can also find me on the CourtGames RPG podcast, at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with the Rokugani Historical Society.